How's it going, everyone? It's Gordon in the Garden here. You may be saying to yourselves right now, who are you, Gordon? And what are you doing on my favorite channel? Well, I'm glad you asked. So Nikolai actually invited me on here to talk a bit of tennis with Roland Garros upon us. It's only natural that we get to discussing the things that really matter. And well, I have quite the experience, as you can see, in tennis. I mean, I have a tennis bag right here, so that gives me all the authority that I really need. Yeah. So right now, we've got Sinner absolutely shafting Rublev. So that's about where we are in the tournament right now. And then what do we've got? We've got Bublik, we've got Zverev, Djokovic, Musetti, Tiafoe, Tommy Paul, and Carlos Alcaraz. Well, who's gonna win, right? Who's gonna win? And I think that's where my expertise really comes in. So match one, Sinner versus Bublik. Now what do I see here, right? Now, the novice viewer could say, alright, Sinner's gonna win, right? And we could just go on to the next match, but naturally I have to make the video 30 minutes long, because that's what Nikolai does. Judging off of Bublik's flag, you don't see that flag very often. I'm not exactly sure where it's from. And Sinner's Italian, right? So, that could affect his swing. I was talking to Bublik the other day. I wasn't. And so naturally, the expert viewer says, well, let's put Bublik ahead, because his flag looks very cool. It's blue and yellow. It's very interesting. Alright, so then, with that out of the way, I know it was actually rather quick. I said, the expert viewer may ponder on this more, but the expert viewer also is very quick-witted. Match number 2. So match number 2 is going to be Novak Djokovic versus Zverev. Now, I know what you're saying to yourselves. Quite an easy pick, right? Djokovic, I mean, even though he's lower seeded, he's coming off a strong win, and he's ferocious right now. You know, he just killed one of my British mates, Cameron Norrie. If you want to hear a story about me and Cameron Norrie, maybe I'll bring him out here in the garden one of these days, but we're actually good mates. And so I have quite the bone to pick with Djokovic, but, you know, I'll settle it on the court with him. I think that Joker will take on Zverev in straight sets. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about that match. But it could not go either way. I was going to say it could go either way. Djokovic, for sure. Let's go on to match 3. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. It appears the chest wanting to take part in this debate. Anyways, match number 3. Musetti versus Frances Tiafoe. Italian versus the American. You may be saying to yourselves, well, it's not about the countries, right? It's about the tennis. But it runs deeper than that. So, as you may know, the Pope recently selected was American. But see, the Pope, well, he resides in Italy. So right now the Italians, if we think of it in this manner, the Italians have they have the American in their arms, so to speak. Let's just say they're at an advantage. The American is not... See, the novice tennis player, tennis viewer, would say, okay, the American is in the strong suit there because they have selected as the Pope. But really, they've just taken this old man, surrounded him with Italians. And I think Musetti and Sinner, they know what they're doing with that, right? Surround the American and hold him as a hostage for Francis Tiafoe to try to fight back for. But I don't know if Francis has it in him. Right, this is one of my more expert takes. You see, this is one of my more hard-hitting takes. You see, I think it's a tough one, right? Because I want to say Tiafoe may be the better player overall. But because of this dynamic, I think I'm going to put Musetti ahead. Is that crazy to say, right? Maybe, but it's just my take. Anyways, match number 4. Okay, so match number 4 is going to be Tommy Paul versus Carlos Alcaraz. Now, here's the thing, right? Pardon me bringing out a bit of data, but Tommy Paul, I mean, that's quite a British name, right? So you know, the novice may say, Carlos Alcaraz, easy, right? But here I am, you know, looking at the names, looking at things that people don't often think about, right? Tommy Paul is a British name, but he's an American player. Well, that's an advantage, right? Because here's the thing, Carlos Alcaraz is going to be quite confused when he steps onto the court and he sees Tommy Paul. He's expecting a British man, right? And he steps onto the court. It's an American. See, that makes me want to put Tommy Paul ahead, but I have to go with Alcaraz. If you do not know this, I am related to Alcaraz. Hola, mi amo es Gordon, y mi hermano es Carlos Alcaraz. So, yeah, maybe I have bias because we're related. Maybe not. Either way, I have him going to the next phase. So that brings us to the semi-finals. So I was going to talk about the semi-finals, but, you know, I'm not saying I forgot what I said was going to happen in the rest of the matches, but, you know, I may have forgotten what I said was going to happen in the rest of the matches. I believe, no nonsense, pure take here, that it will be Djokovic versus Carlos Alcaraz. And here's the thing, right? Maybe some of my other takes had been quite rubbish, right? Fair enough. But this is reality, right? Carlos Alcaraz will beat Djokovic in straight sets. I do not believe it'll be close. I think this is the turning point of the eras. We've been talking about it, right? We've been saying, here's the new 2, and here is this dinosaur of the big 3 who still happens to be playing great tennis. I love Djokovic, he's probably my favourite player. But I do believe there is a time when the new must overtake the old. If not now, let's say Djokovic wins, right? Djokovic will not win in the Garden when he comes to Garden's Garden, i.e. Wimbledon, you know. Either here or then is going to be the turning point of tennis, and I believe the sinister dose, that will be their reign, you know. That will be the reign. So I know there may have been a lot of rubbish chatted, and it may not have been the best video, right? I'm new to the channel. I'm delivering new takes, a new style of content, just trying things out here, right? Maybe I'll be let back on, maybe not. Either way though, thank you for having me, Nikolai, and hopefully you took something away from that. I'll see you.